Good afternoon. This is Lindsay Cravens working on Module 4, Cultivating Relationships with Your School Board. My purpose. My purpose as directed by the school board as a superintendent candidate is to be the face of the school district. I will be an effective leader who will work well with other people and understand the value of building relationships. Establishing working relationships with many interest groups inside the school and within the community itself to maximize effectiveness is my purpose. In order to fulfill the required roles of a school superintendent, I must build a strong rapport with the constituents of the district. Research provided a list of best practices. To quote, when the board and the superintendent function as an effective management team, good things will happen. You must spend time with all segments of the school community and be visible. When people see the superintendent, they get to ask questions and they get to express concerns. Also, you need to recognize when good ideas from the public have been the source for the plan for making changes. Superintendents also need to follow his or her moral compass and take a stand on behalf of the children who may not have advocates. In other words, you have to put yourself out there, and it is a risk at times to make those tough decisions, but always keeping the students at front and center is important. Continuing with the list of best practices. The relationship between a school and their school board members is an important one. And when students, staff, and administration join arms with the school board members, the entire school is better for it. It's good to invite school board members in, whether there's big school events or a day that would be great for them to come in, maybe serve lunch, or just come in and see the workflow of the day. Let them see the amazing things that are happening in your district. It's also important to attend Board of Education meetings. Currently, as a principal, this is something I do every month or in between if we have special board meetings already, but it helps to build a relationship between the school employees and members of the board. Also create ongoing learning experiences, as the board members may not be well versed in the school's latest curriculum, technology, or initiatives in an intimate way, because they hold jobs of their own during the day, so it helps to have us in there as the education experts to help them learn the issues at hand. They have to educate themselves, but we are there to guide them too. Continuing on. Needs of a district vary, and leadership and management styles do as well. The primary duty of each school board and superintendent to determine together what each is to do and establish policies and procedures that will lead to the successful performance of those duties. Community input on developing a district vision, and seek a superintendent that has the same outlook. That's kind of where you start at the beginning. Have clearly defined responsibilities. Keeping roles clear and communication open is key to sound and productive board and superintendent relationships. The one thing I have noticed through this assignment is that is what is repeated over and over. Honest, open communication and how important it is. Effectively manage changes by showing mutual respect in highly complex, politically charged, and oftentimes contentious system. Find common ground and execute an agenda that prioritizes student achievement over all else. That is another bullet point that stands out through all of the research here, is keeping student achievement front and center. When confronting complex and unexpected problems with flexible thinking, collaboration, and shared decision making, as well as identifying academic achievement as the main responsibility. Cultivating a respectful and responsive relationship with the district's Board of Education. When the board, superintendent, the president, and administration work well together, they project a positive image of a team with a vision, working in a coordinated way to provide the best possible education in the community. First and foremost, there has to be trust, and it has to be promoted. Again, we have communication that's honest and open, and it has to be a safe space where things can be talked through. That's what trust also builds. No surprises. A little forewarning can mean that answers can be prepared that are effective and efficient. I know as a principal, Making sure that our board is informed on anything that pops up before a board meeting so they can have time to discuss and think about it is greatly appreciated. Nobody wants to be surprised during a public setting. Also, you need to do your homework. Provide information to the board in a timely manner so they can have gone through it prior to the meeting. They also need to have time to gather input from students and families in the community as well. Cultivate and evaluate effective and collaborative systems for district governance. Basically, this includes all shareholders. Your district's goals, vision, and policies are your navigation to steer the district. Keep them in front of you as you study your options and make decisions. Take every opportunity to present the facts to your public clearly and honestly. Build a communicator network if you don't already have one. Hold meetings as necessary to ensure the public is heard. Email district staff and create presentations for the community meetings. Support staff, as there will be times where they feel fear and stress, as I think a lot of us do right now with a lot of hot button topics that are at hand. Try to minimize those feelings when possible. Don't make promises, as change happens fast. Life happens and things change overnight at times. So we may not always be able to keep those promises the next day. Keep an outlook into the future and set clear goals. This allows shareholders to plan and set their sights on the future. Engage in decision making and appropriately communicate with the Board of Education. Experience has taught me that satisfied board members not only make more productive members of a district's strategic governing team, but also more reliable partners for the superintendent. School board members have strong ties to the community. In fact, they were elected to be that and be that tie between the school and the community. They have to network, and it's important to use those connections for the communication. External relations and image building. We need to remember to keep a positive outlook. It's easy to get on the negative side when complaints come in, but we have to remember to be productive and keep students front and center. Ask a board member to speak at a Chamber of Commerce luncheon to represent the district and explain strategic goals and educational progress. I know on our school board we have one member that is also a member of the chamber. We have another school board member that serves on the recreation board. Even in a small town, it's kind of the same people that do everything, but it helps to have those intertwining networks to clearly decide what's going on in the community, because everybody leans on everybody in those small towns. The superintendent can help prepare talking points and a presentation. Have that individual start with the board and administrators before giving a speech to the community. Also, get students involved with the school board. They can voice change and research desired changes to present to the board. The high school, we have students go every other board meeting to say the pledge and also talk about the different organizations and things that are going on in the school. And that has been one thing that's helped our civic engagement piece as well. The grade school has theirs on the months that we are not there. Policy. The basic responsibility for initiating, reviewing, and recommending new policies or policy modification will rest with the administration. New policies or changes in existing policy may be proposed by any board member, staff member, parent, student, or other member of the community to the administration for the board to consider. The administration in developing these policies may be guided by the recommendations of the staff and may seek parent and community input during the preparation and review of policy statements. Advice from legal counsel may also be appropriate. The administration may need to furnish background to the board. The final authority and responsibility of board policy lies with the school board. Is the superintendent a buffer? Well, to answer that in short, yes. Between the staff and community, the superintendent serves as a buffer, but they don't do it alone. There's also a buffer between the superintendent and the community, which is the board. Superintendents have to make tough decisions. They will no doubt continue to face politically challenging dilemmas in the months ahead, not only as the pandemic lingers, but also as district leaders are pulled in every direction on several hot-button issues, including but not limited to policies and practices related to discussing race and racism, in school and rights of transgender and non-binary student athletes. The role of the superintendent is key, but not solo, in protecting teachers, administrators, and district staff. District leadership and the school board must work together to protect the district when discussing, implementing, and communicating potentially controversial decisions. They must understand the issues. School members again have to do their homework and educate themselves on the issues facing education and their school. A lot is going on in education right now, and it can be one of the toughest jobs to do. They must listen to the superintendent, but also understand the reasoning behind the recommendations. They have to understand the why. Why is the superintendent recommending this? That way, when they have to communicate and get input out from the community and families, they have a good base to go from. When difficult decisions have to be made, there must be time for the board members to gather that input from community members, especially the most vulnerable students and families. Superintendents and school board members must keep students at the center of conversations and community members. Decisions must be made based on what is safe and what's best for students, staff, and the community as a whole, and they should be based on data and facts from experts, not necessarily on opinions that they will be hearing from the community. The superintendent must protect the staff, as the board must be the buffer between the community and superintendent. Time should be spent being productive as well as moving the district forward, not monitoring complaints or negative talk. Communication between the school and community must mirror that positivity and productive nature. And here we have a reference page and my final reference page. Thank you.